Next, I found a full set of 2009 bodywork, and I began the process of trying to fit this stuff up. I had to figure out how to get the headlight fairing on with the R6 fairing stay. If you look close in there, you'll see some wood blocks that I made to mount the fairing stay to the RZ500 steering neck. And pushed aside the 2006 tailpiece for the 2008 one. That all had to be redone. The wood blocks turned into these solid billet aluminum mounting blocks to get the fairing stay mounted. The placement of the holes in these things was extremely critical to get the fairings to line up properly on the bike. This was the basis for the alignment of the fairings. Here is some of Ken's Garage high-end machining equipment in action. It's pretty amazing what you can accomplish when you put your mind to it, even if you don't have the fanciest tools on the block. Here's a small sample of some of the other zillions of brackets I made to get this stuff all fitted up. Back to the 2009 tail section. I think I called it 2008 earlier. The seat required some modification. The blue Sharpie lines are cut marks. Then I had to keep remounting the seat base to make little marks to show where I needed to heat and bend the seat base to get it to conform to the tank. Then the foam required a little trimming. After I was satisfied with that, I could put the seat cover back on. Alright, now all we have to do is just screw those body parts on, right? And then take them off for more trimming and cutting and sanding and filing. All done, right? And off again for more trimming and cutting and filing and sanding. All done, right? Do you get the idea? At this point, I decided to design my own underseat custom oil tank. This project was abandoned when I found what was supposed to be the perfect, already fabbed underseat oil tank. Some jackass on the RZ500 forum sold me this underseat oil tank, claiming it was an RZV Steve one. I suppose I was a jackass for buying it without looking at pictures. It was sent back for a refund. Testing the limits of Ken's garage machine shop, all of this business, including the oil tank, becomes the rear subframe supporting the rear bodywork. That's the forward seat bracket. All of the red marks you see are where I had a professional from work do welding on the aluminum parts. He did a fantastic job welding these parts up. Here's a before shot. The oil supply to the oil pump. Additional welding required. And this is the oil tank breather. Here's that beautiful set of RZV500 rear sets mounted up. I spent weekends, plural, deflashing the hangers in preparation for powder coat and sanding and polishing the aluminum shifter and other bits, and then decided to not use them. I played around with this set for a bit and ultimately decided on this set. And so began a very, very long fit-up process. There were quite a few other brackets that had to be done in parallel to this process. Once again, testing the limits of Ken's garage fabrication and machine shop. Some slots were added to this exhaust hanger, the old-fashioned way. The rear set adapter brackets were cut to the shape of the rear sets, so they would be a bit hidden. Here's a few of the remnants of that fit up. After powder coating, before, after, before, after, and a few more. And a license plate bracket was added. Let's move on to a very challenging area, shall we? I really didn't like all of these components hanging off of the frame rails on the left and right sides. I designed this mounting plate and Julian had it made for me. Then began the reconfiguration of the electronics and endless harness modifications. I sourced this automotive style fuse holder, added the wires and lugs and connector block, and as per about 90% of the stuff on this bike, proceeded to redo it. Piece of cake, huh? Well, what do you know? One of these lights is a low beam and one is a high beam. Is the harness finally done? That looks better.